Welcome to Screener to Stream It,
where we take a look at a movie that's in theaters now
versus one you can stream at home,
and we try to decide which one should you go with.
This week on Screener to Stream It, we saw Baby Driver.
Surprisingly, not about babies.
Yeah, it's about a young man named Baby that they never really clarified why he's named Baby.
He did have a youthful look, but
Baby is a getaway driver for a mobster, and it's a story that's been done before. Baby is a getaway driver, but he's really a good guy, and he doesn't want to be the getaway driver, but he's kind of being held in by these bad people who are threatening him and basically making him stay in this business. And the movie follows through several of their heists and the relationships Baby has with people and him trying to pull himself out of that lifestyle.
Right.
What will we give it as far as a star rating?
Well, we actually talked about this one a lot. We had a lot of trouble because we liked it a lot more than we thought we would, and we feel like there was a lot more there. There were a ton of Easter eggs, just things we noticed in the background that were happening, which obviously very intentional, and we missed a bunch of stuff too. So we finally decided on 4 stars, mainly because we want to watch it again, though it may go down after a rewatch. We'll have to just wait and see.
Well, I was a little confused by the trailer. I wasn't sure because it looked like my type of movie. Gangsters, car chases, that
action.
Sort of thing. Yeah. But at the same time, it could have been really, I don't know, it looked a little off. And sometimes off is a good thing, and sometimes off is not a good thing.
And it was a little off, but not in the ways that I think we thought it might have been.
And like you said, we gave it 4 stars. But this is definitely a movie that does style over substance.
Very much.
Like I said, the story's been done
1,000 times
before. The characters, we don't really get. Like, I enjoyed the characters, most of them, but there is no character development. It's just kind of, they stick a person in your face, give them a wild personality so that you hopefully recognize them in 2 seconds.
And that's who they are.
And then they go on with the story, and we kind of cycle through characters. They don't tend to last very long. Most of them don't.
I guess with 2 exceptions. They come back later in the movie, and then you do get a little deeper knowledge on their personalities, which was kind of creepy. But it was good creepy. Like, it worked.
It's part of the plot of the movie that the mob boss guy doesn't want the same crew doing the jobs every time, so they're cycling through these bad guys, but they are very generic, stereotyped bad guys, and they just, it's like bad guy of the day, and they shove another one in there. The main characters, which would be Baby, the mob boss guy played by Kevin Spacey, who's always awesome, and you got the Deborah, the girlfriend.
Yeah.
And aside from Baby, I have no idea what their motivation is, why they do things. And in the end, they do things that you're kind of like, why did they do that? But there's no explanation for it.
It seemed really out of character from what they had set up to that point. You've got one guy who's just a hard-nosed, criminal guy, and then he has a soft side suddenly that just comes out of nowhere. Not very soft, but, it's...
Well, and the girlfriend doesn't know what Baby does for a living, and then when she finds out that he's just, getaway driver and criminal, she's just, okay, let's go.
I do have to hand it to her. She really just rolled with it, and that, it was a little endearing, actually.
Now, so the substance, it's alright. It's not bad, but it's not a great... it's not a great plot. They're not great characters that would make it a great movie.
I did think Baby may be the exception to that.
Yeah, probably.
Because he had a medical condition, which, that's not a huge spoiler. They go over that in the movie. So he's listening to music, and he doesn't really talk a lot. Of course he can, but he's a quiet guy. And that was interesting, I thought.
But it's the style. I would say more of what went on behind the camera in post-production and like the directing, the editing, make this movie more than the story, the acting.
And so much of it was done to the time of what Baby was listening to in his music.
Yeah, and it's the same guy that did the Simon Pegg movies, Hot Fuzz, and all that. It's the same director. Yeah. And you know how those are kind of stylized and over the top. But the movie is basically an hour and a half long music video.
Yeah.
There was a great scene where the gunfire Like there was this huge firefight, and the gunfire was in time to the music that was playing in the background. And like you said, Baby pretty much throughout the entire movie has earphones in and is playing music, and that's playing in the background, and that's the score of the film. And man, is it just cool. Like it is just a cool movie.
It was good music too. They had a lot of great picks for the music.
If you like filmmaking, or if you're a movie file in any way, I think this is a must-see movie. Like, you have to see this.
I could agree with that.
The directing, the editing, just how cool it is totally worth a view anyways. And like I said, we're going to give 4 stars. There were so many tiny little Easter eggs and hidden things in there. Like, you were constantly seeing stuff in the background, or something would happen in, like, the gunfire and are the guns in shooting with the music? And, like, I so want to see it again.
Well, I remember that first one fairly early when we started seeing the song lyrics just written random places in the background as he's walking down the street. You see this graffiti of, it's like, is that the song lyric? It is the song lyrics. You see more of them. That was great.
Well, there was even a deeper layer to that. I mean, it was just so many little things. And when we got through and we were talking about it, we were kind of worried. We were like, what did we miss? Like, if we caught all of that, what did we miss in there?
I know what we caught, but I'm sure that wasn't all of it.
So yeah, definitely worth at least a second watch. And it's a smaller budget movie, not a huge blockbuster, summer movie.
Though that having been said, the effects were pretty. I didn't see any. Well, I saw one shot that I wondered if it was a CGI car. The rest of it was actual cars driving around. They had stunt drivers, and I think that is fantastic. That made it right there worth one watch.
So I mentioned this when we were talking about it, but I was so happy at the first, because the first heist, he's got a Subaru WRX.
Yes.
It's a perfect getaway car. It's fast, it's nimble, it's agile. Usually the movie cars are ridiculous. You got, Barracudas and all these huge 70s cars that are beautiful but slow and cumbersome. And I was like, they're going to do it right. And then every other car in the movie after that was like, oh, it's ridiculous. No one would do that. But the things they did with the cars and the car chases were... I keep using that word, but it's cool.
They really delivered.
The car chases were so neat.
They delivered on spectacle very much, and if that's all you're going to see it, like I said, worth one watch just for that.
Yes.
But there was more to it, and that's why we eventually decided 4 stars, because it was a little deeper. We're not sure how much deeper, because so much was coming at us so fast with the Easter eggs. They were throughout. And so I know we missed a bunch of them, and I definitely want to give it a second watch.
This is the first movie in a long time where I would emphatically grab people and go, you should go watch this. You need to see this. And if it's not something that you want to go to the theater and see, you should.
Definitely.
But if it's not, what would be a streaming comparison?
Well, and that's a little harder now, given all the layers of Easter eggs and things, because it is hard for me to think of a movie that has that many that were so seamlessly put in. They didn't stop to laugh at any of them. They just kind of were there, and you either catch it or you don't. But the movie I thought of most was actually Drive, which I forget when that was made, in the last 10 years sometime. Ryan Gosling, he's a getaway driver. Kind of similar story there. He's a getaway driver, kind of wants out. He doesn't really want to keep doing that. It's a little different because I don't think he was beholden to anyone. He was just really good at it. He's also a really quiet character, kind of like Baby, but he's a bit older, and man, when things get violent in that movie, they get violent.
Well, I think that's a better pick than my pick.
Oh.
But I actually had 2, because the car chases got me, so I was thinking Gone in 60 Seconds, the Nicolas Cage one. Yeah. For the stylized car chases and stuff, you get kind of the same feeling from that you do with Baby Driver. But what I really lean towards, and I'm going to steal this from you, is Kill Me 3 Times.
Oh, I love Kill Me 3 Times.
Simon Pegg is a hitman, and it's another one of those comedy of error things.
Oh man,
but it's just so cool again, and it's like he's hired to kill somebody, but other people want to kill him for various reasons, and all these people are trying to kill this person, and it's just one of those that gets all wrapped up and mixed up.
That movie gets so tangled and twisted so fast. I have rarely seen anything get that convoluted that fast with that many people trying to kill each other for different reasons.
But it definitely doesn't have the same feel as Baby Driver, and I think
but it's
Drive
certainly worth
as
the
much.
watch.
But it's certainly worth the watch, and it has that cool factor that Baby Driver had. Maybe not as good as Baby Driver, and definitely not the Easter eggs and stuff, but it's a fun movie, and it's a lower budget, just really cool movie. I think you should check that one out. Kill Me 3 Times.
Now, I'm not sure what they spent on Drive. Of course, Ryan Gosling, he doesn't come cheap, I'm sure. But it also was. It wasn't styled quite like Baby Driver, but it had its own different style because so much of the movie was done without dialogue happening, and that was a really interesting choice. But it was a good movie. So we've got lots of options for you this week. That's it for us. That's all our time. Thanks for watching Screen It or Stream It.
And remember, don't take your kids to the movies on Tuesday nights because that's when we go.